She's gone, and right now, nothing anyone says is going to make that feel any less like the ground has been pulled out from under you. I'm not going to tell you to just move on. I'm not going to tell you to hit the gym and forget her, because that would be a lie. And lies don't heal anything. But I am going to tell you something a Roman philosopher said almost 2,000 years ago. Something that might hurt to hear right now, but that will eventually set you free. Epictetus once told his students, when you kiss your wife, your child, say to yourself that you are kissing a mortal. Hold that in mind for a moment. That sounds cold, but it's not. It's the most loving thing anyone has ever said about love. Because what Epictetus was really saying, what he was really teaching, is this: love fully, but hold gently. Stay with me, because where we're going might change something before we go anywhere near philosophy, before ancient wisdom and Stoic practices and all of that. We need to stop and sit with something first. You're in pain, real pain, the kind that lives in your chest at 3 in the morning when you wake up, and just for a half a second, you forget, and then you remember. The kind that makes your hand move across the bed to reach for someone who isn't there anymore. The kind that makes ordinary things feel like ambushes. A song on the radio, a smell, a coffee cup in the wrong cabinet. Don't minimize it. I need you to hear this clearly, because our culture rarely says it to men. The Stoics did not believe that pain was weakness. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers who ever lived, wrote extensive, deeply human letters about grief. He watched people suffer. He suffered himself, and he never once told anyone to just man up and move on. What Seneca said was this: it is better to conquer our grief than to deceive it, not suppress it, not distract yourself from it. Conquer it, and you cannot conquer something you refuse to acknowledge. That means feeling it first. The grief you feel right now, it is proportional to the love you gave, which means it is also evidence of your capacity to love deeply. That is not a weakness. That is one of the most important things about you. Most men in our culture are handed exactly 2 tools for heartbreak: distraction, lose yourself in work, in the gym, in the next thing, or suppression. Don't talk about it, don't show it, be a man. Neither of those is healing. They are just different ways of delaying the reckoning. The pain you're feeling right now, it's the sound of a chain breaking. Let it break. So why does this hit so hard? Why does heartbreak, for so many men, feel less like a loss and more like an identity crisis? Because for many men, the relationship was the identity. Epictetus understood this problem more deeply than almost anyone in history. Remember, he was a slave, literally, a man who had no control over his body, his location, his freedom, his physical world. And from that position, from total external powerlessness, he developed the most radical idea in Western philosophy. The only thing that is truly yours is your will, your inner response to what happens to you. Not your job, not your reputation, not your relationship status, not the woman who said she loved you. Your will. And here is where modern men go wrong. We are not taught to build an inner life. We are taught to build an external one: career, status, relationships. And we unconsciously make those things the source of who we are, which means when one of them falls, we fall with it. Epictetus said, never say about anything, I have lost it. Say only, I have given it back. Not lost, returned. She was not yours to keep. And here is the part that's beautiful and difficult at the same time. You were not hers to keep either. You were 2 people who chose each other freely for a time. That time has ended, but the love you gave, that was yours. The person you became because of her, that stays. The Stoics didn't avoid love. Marcus Aurelius loved his wife deeply. Seneca wrote some of the most tender words about friendship ever recorded. What they practiced was holding love like water in their hands, fully present to it, grateful for it, not grasping so tightly that it spilled faster. Open hands, not closed fists. The problem isn't that you loved her. The problem is that at some point you stopped being a man who loved her and became a man who needed her. and the moment she became a need rather than a choice. You built your house on rented ground. This isn't blame. This is diagnosis, and a clear diagnosis is always the beginning of something better. Let's talk about what you actually do now. 3 Stoic practices that have survived 2,000 years because they work, and they work especially well for men navigating loss. Practice 1, negative visualization. I know, the last thing you want right now is to think more about loss. You're already submerged in it. But negative visualization, as Seneca and the Stoics practiced it, is not about suffering more. It is about gratitude through contrast. Here's the practice. Every morning, for 5 minutes before you touch your phone, sit quietly and deliberately think about what you still have. Your health, if you have it. A friend who would answer the phone at midnight. The ability to feel, to think, to change your mind about who you want to be. The sunrise happening outside your window right now, whether you notice it or not. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of loss, not to make themselves miserable, but so that the presence of good things could never become invisible to them. You have lost something real, but you have not lost everything. And right now, your grief is so loud, it may be drowning out what is still here. Quiet it, even for 5 minutes, by naming what remains. Practice 2, the Journal of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He commanded armies, governed millions, and watched his children die. He was arguably the most powerful man alive during his time. He also kept a private journal, the one we now call Meditations, that he never intended for anyone else to read. It was not a record of events. It was a daily reckoning, a place where he argued with himself, where he caught himself being bitter, being petty, being afraid, and then slowly, carefully, talked himself back to something better. Start a journal, not to perform your healing, not to document your feelings for someone else, but to interrogate them, honestly, when no one is watching. Ask yourself, what story am I telling about why this happened? Is that story actually true? What would I say to a good friend telling himself the exact same thing? Men who know themselves clearly are not destroyed by heartbreak. They are shaped by it. There is a difference. Practice 3. The view from above. Marcus Aurelius used this one constantly. When he was overwhelmed by grief, by empire, by loss, he would zoom out. When you're lost in heartbreak, you are zoomed all the way in. The breakup fills the entire frame of your life. The view from above asks you to pull back. Picture the earth from space. Billions of people going through billions of things right now. Centuries of history behind them. The quiet scale of geological time. And then, you. Here, in this apartment, in this city, on this day. Not minimized, not dismissed, just placed in proportion. You are alive. You are capable of growth. You are standing at the very beginning of something that hasn't been written yet. The view from above does not make the pain smaller, it makes you bigger than the pain. Here's the question that every man who has been through real heartbreak eventually has to face. Who are you without her? Not who you were before her. That man doesn't fully exist anymore. Love changes us, and it should. But who are you now? Shaped by the love, shaped by the loss, standing here in the aftermath. Epictetus believed every obstacle contained an invitation. The breakup isn't just something that happened to you. It is asking you something about your character. What parts of yourself did you abandon while you were with her? What friendships went quiet? What ambitions got soft? What edges of yourself got smoothed down to fit into the shape of someone else's life? Now you get them back. That is not a consolation prize. That is the work. And men who do this work, who resist the urge to simply move on to the next distraction and instead sit with the question of who they actually are, those men come out the other side different. Not harder, not colder, not closed, more rooted, more themselves. And heartbreak, it turns out, is where that often begins. One last thing. The Stoics did not swear off love. That is not what any of this is about. They did not become cold or detached or closed off to the world. What they practiced was loving with open hands. Full love, not the pale, cautious, protect yourself at all costs kind. full love, the kind that risks everything, because that is the only kind worth having. But holding gently, knowing that nothing in this life is permanent, that the people we love are mortal, that the moments we share are finite, and that this impermanence is not a tragedy. It is what makes them precious. The sunset is beautiful because it ends. The next time you love someone, and you will love again, love them as a Stoic. Be completely present. Let it matter. Let it move you. Let yourself be known and hold it with open hands. Not because you don't care, because you have learned that love is not ownership. It is not a contract. It is not a guarantee. It is, at its best, a daily choice, made freely by two people who understand they are both mortal, both imperfect, both here only for a while. She's gone. That chapter is real and it's over, but you are still here. And that, right now, is everything. So stop wasting it, subscribe, and build a life worth remembering.